Cheat on me and I'll ruin your life for everybody you touch. Ronnie was a serial cheater throughout high school, but he was more than that. He was manipulative. He would blow through relationships, typically 4 at a time. They would only ever last a week to a couple months before the girls would catch him cheating. He'd proceed to leak their nudes or spill their secrets and move on to a new demographic of women. He was charismatic and scapegoated his problems onto his dying father. It didn't matter anyhow, he would destroy the victim's reputation until they weren't trusted, anyways. Despite this, I was in love. I was his side piece through it all. Morally, I knew it was wrong, but I had never been in love before. Besides, he wasn't lying to me like the other girls. He was honest about the fact he was cheating. I was special. I stuck it out. 2 years later and he's fallen in love with me, too. Or so I thought. He vowed to give up cheating, even gave up PRN just to have me love him back. I accepted it. We planned to marry. He was always so smart about his manipulation. When friends blocked me randomly, or called me abusive, I thought it was just a misunderstanding. When people began to become aware of deep, personal secrets, I thought maybe I had slipped up during a conversation. No one ever told me Ronnie had called me abusive, a cheater, or a liar. I never knew he accused me of being the things he secretly was. He would insult me late at night, before bed, and then claim he didn't remember in the morning. He would slip sly comments into our talks, just enough to make me doubt myself but never question him. He was a master at gaslighting until I hated myself and only wanted to please him. I was head over heels in love, despite all of it. He would casually slap me, never when I was upset, but when I said things he didn't like. He would slap me across the face and I would be too shocked to speak. He followed it up by laughing and playing it off as okay to do or a joke, so I wouldn't fight back. If I expressed it was wrong or told anyone, he said I was misunderstanding a playful tap. Halfway through our relationship, I followed work to another state and maintained a LDR with him. It was my dream. I wanted so badly to stay. But after 8 months, I gave up my home, my pets and my job to move 1,000 miles across the country to live with him again. I had literally nothing and was absolutely penniless. 3 months after this, I caught him cheating. He had asked a girl on a date via an alt Twitter account. I was hurt, but ultimately it wasn't so bad, so I forgave him. The seed of doubt was already planted, however. 2 months later, I snooped through his phone and noticed he had several Reddit accounts saved to Chrome. I vaguely recalled he used Reddit to view PRN before, and I got a bad feeling in my stomach. I began guessing his common email password combos. I got 5 hits total. They were more than I expected. I figured maybe he was lying about not watching PRN, which is not a big deal to me, but for 6 months he had been using these accounts to cheat on me using hookup and PRN subreddits. I confronted him. He screamed, telling me he had already apologized to me for cheating a few months ago and I needed to quit making him sad. That he had already said sorry and I wasn't going to get anything else. He explained that he had continued to cheat because he feared I would leave and he wanted a second option. I spent a week and a half sobbing. I had nothing but this man and I had never been good enough for him. I was destroyed. He screamed at me nearly every day, telling me my crying was annoying, that my depression made him uncomfortable. Telling my friends I was guilt-tripping him over something that didn't happen. Finally, I snapped. I had wasted all of my high school and early adult years with a man who did nothing but walk on me. I went back to Reddit and counted every person he had flirted with or exchanged messages with. I began to voice record every conversation. Screenshot every text. Next I downloaded Tinder and Bumble. For every girl he cheated on me with, I ducked a guy behind his back. When we went out with friends, I began to act more and more sad and slowly dropped in conversation how Ronnie had been yelling at me the night before and that it had upset me. I began to vent to his friends and show them every screenshot, Then I emailed his mother, his grandparents, and his work voice recordings of him screaming at me. I asked his boss if his company supported domestic violence. I cried to his mother and she held me as I vented my frustrations, explaining how she had been cheated on by Ronnie's father. Ronnie began to scapegoat again. He told me he was sick in the head and his depression was causing him to act like that. I knew he was attempting to gaslight me. When we were young, I was so in love with him that I saved almost every photo and text he had sent me to a OneDrive. I found all the times he had admitted to leaking nudes, cheating and ruining girls' lives. I got in contact with each of the girls, making one big group chat and sending them every bit of evidence I could find. These were then posted all over Facebook. He had dreams of getting into politics. I joined every political group in our area and pretended to be interested in joining. I befriended the members and casually dropped into conversation how Ronnie had cheated on me and verbally abused me and ruined other people's lives. They would inquire more. I would vent and show them the mountain of evidence I had collected. Ronnie was still unaware I had done it. He spent the night screaming and crying about how no one liked him and he wasn't sure why. He had lost his job. His friends and family wouldn't speak to him. He was being publicly shamed on social media and his political group had ousted him. I finally dropped it onto him that I had done it and I was leaving. During all this, I had secretly removed what little money I had from his bank account and contacted distant relatives and asked for a place to stay. I was leaving. He didn't have anything left to abuse or manipulate. I don't have a solid ending for this. I just wanted to say duck you, Ronnie. I wasted my youth being abused and I won't stand for it anymore. Redditors reactions update after. Redditor 1, kudos to you for getting out. Cheers to bigger and better things in your future. Redditor 2, the two things that PSS me off most in the world is 1. People like that exist and get away with this asset. 2. People like that either don't see what's wrong with their actions, or do and are narcissistic enough not to give a asset. My girlfriend's ex-stepdad is a doctor and did so much to hurt my girlfriend, her mom, and her family. I want so badly to take this revenge nuclear, but we're finally at a point where he isn't affecting life on a daily basis, and I'm worried any attempts at nuclear revenge will reverse all the progress we've made. This man is a grade A psychopath and it terrifies me that he walks around on the same planet as me, breathing the same air, and there's any potential for him to even enjoy a moment of happiness. Redditor 3, amazing story, you got your revenge and we hope for the best for you. Redditor 4, bad Robbie. Don't cheat your girlfriend. Bad. Update, Ida for cutting off a guy who's in love with me? My boyfriend and I are involved in a political type hobby. I can't say much more because it's a very small, specific community of people who also use Reddit. But it revolves around politics. Recently, we decided to open a Call of Duty group and Discord to help get closer with our community. One of the other members of this community, Brain, is significantly younger than I am. I believe he's 13 and my boyfriend mentors him, so he's always welcome to join us in gaming. He's very socially isolated. At some point, he began to tell others in our community he was in love with me. We do not spend time alone together or outside of our community. I believe the only reason he has feelings for me is because I am the only woman involved in this hobby and I am likely the only woman he talks to outside of family. His advancements had been reserved to giving me small gifts via video games and listening to my jokes. Pretty innocent. Therefore, I ignored it, but 2 days ago he vented about how isolated he felt. I've made it known to him that I'm always there to support him emotionally, so this isn't out of the ordinary. He began to drop in sexual themes about girls he had been formerly interested in and discussed things that had aroused him. It was in context to our talk, but I was very disgusted. I quickly ended the conversation. His messages had not been outright sexual harassment, but he's 14 and I'm over age. I felt distributed. I went online to our server and let my boyfriend and friends know that I was upset. They both sided with me and said it was gross. He knew I was in a relationship. I said I didn't want to be around him and we agreed to remove him from the game. My friends confronted him the next day and a massive argument ensued. I was not present, but they fought for hours. At some point, they made up. My friends decided that I would forgive him, too, and added him back to everything. I came back to the server to see that he was back and they were making jokes about me being uncomfortable. I DM'd them privately to ask what had changed, and that I really did not want him in there. I was told it was stupid of me to be uncomfortable, get over it. I expressed my concerns about the age gap. I was told I didn't have to play in the group anymore and I would be removed from the Discord. I promised I would suck it up if they didn't kick me out. Brian started acting exactly the same within minutes of being unblocked. They're not taking my concerns seriously anymore. I blew up on my boyfriend today and told him that he can't decide I'm no longer uncomfortable for me, and I should have been involved in the chat where he came back. I blew up on the whole group about their selfishness, and I apologized to Brain for embarrassing him, but I had told him many times I did not want him to act like that. Ida? Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, you did the good thing. NTA, he's 14, you're over 18? That makes anything of a sexual nature that you do say to him criminal. Don't suck it up, show them what could really happen. Show them the max penalties for it all and then ask why they're comfortable with that 14-year-old threatening to ruin your life. And if they continue, leave all of them. Even your BF. Redditor 2, NTA. Your BF and friends should have taken you seriously because this is a serious situation. You did the right thing, but that kid is gonna need some help. He's probably socially isolated outside of this group that he's in, and if someone doesn't teach him not to act like that, he's probably gonna grow into a nice guy. Redditor 3, you're the only girl in the group, and all the guys met up without you to discuss how you were overreacting, being uncomfortable, and should get over it? NTA, but are you sure you want to be friends with these people? Why do they hang out with a 13-year-old anyway? Unless he's a relative or something, there's no reason to do so specifically because it leads to situations like this. You absolutely should have been present for that conversation.